I mean, how old is Mike Tyson? 60?
57.
57. Jake Paul,
27.
You are a disgrace of a man. You are the epitome of weakness. You are the scum of the earth. The fact that you even have a platform or anything of that nature is a slight on society. You truly make me disgusted. And if I ever encounter you in real life, I hope that I just don't lose my and go to prison.
Pound for pound, Sean Strickland is one of the baddest men on the planet, and also one of the most honest, which is refreshing in this day and age. MMA fans not only respect him for his fighting ability, but they also love that he speaks his mind.
If you had a son and he was like, you had a son, you'd be like, oh man, you don't want a grandkid?
No problem with it.
Oh man, well dude, you're a weak man, dude.
Give me that old time religion!
Usually when an athlete ascends to the peak of their sport, they mind their P's and Q's because what they say can impact their bank account. But Strickland says what's on his mind, and it's usually what everyone is thinking but too afraid to say, like this on Twitter. Jake Paul and Mike Tyson game planning to hide the fact that this is pathetic. So we have to make people believe that you have a chance, and we have to make people believe that you're not over 60 and this isn't the most pathetic thing I've ever done. Usually when fighters talk trash, it's just for promotional purposes. Get the masses fired up so they entertain your fight and put money in your pocket. But with Strickland, he clearly hates Jake Paul.
When it comes to the Jake Paul brothers, I stay away from it, and they hurt men. They hurt the image of men. They hurt the psyche of men. And the more you could just stay away from it, the better off you'll be.
Strickland is one of the first fighters who I've seen smack talk isn't for show. He's a genuine guy who's not afraid to tell it like it is, especially when it comes to the Paul brothers.
Jake Paul, for $5 million, I would fight you to the death. I'm not even joking. I'm being 100% serious. I would go to a deserted island with you today and fight you to the death for $5 million. But here's the thing about you, Jake Paul. You're a coward. You're a little. You're the millennial YouTube generation. You just do for attention. You're a weak man, and you're going to continue to be a weak and make a ton of money. That I respect you for, but I also hate you.
A while back, a streamer named Sneeko said he wanted to spar Strickland. Getting clicks equals getting money, I get it, but I don't think there is any amount of clicks that could get me into a cage with this monster.
That's nice.
Obviously, Strickland was taking it easy on Sneeko. The dude walked out of the cage alive. If Strickland wanted to, he could have ended the poor kid. Jake Paul saw that clip and thought otherwise. He thought Strickland went too hard. Because of this, he called out Strickland and offered $1 million to spar with him, but he says Strickland won't do it because he knows he would lose.
Shawnee Strickland. I said, I'll send you the PJ. Let me know where we could spar for $1 million. And then all of a sudden it's, I would get sued by the UFC. But you just sparred Sneeko. You could spar anyone. I disagree with Dana a lot on many, many things, but we agree on also a lot of things. And even Dana himself said, can't put Sean Strickland around any human being. So I feel bad for the guy. I see a very insecure, lost, wannabe, like alpha male that's hiding. If you saw Sean Strickland like beating up Sneeko, trying to drop him, which was embarrassing that he couldn't, he went all out. I just tweeted at him, Sean Strickland, you're embarrassing for trying to stop Sneeko like that. You weren't even able to drop someone with no experience while going all out. You're a horrid boxer that only picks on inexperienced people, which is true. If you see all these clips of him like beating up random people in the gym, he never spars anyone good. I'll fly you to PR and we can fight on camera. If you win, I'll give you $1 million, which is half of his net worth. Just like Paddy Pimblett, I'm guessing you'll find a way to run.
To me, it felt like Jake Paul is just trying to capitalize on another moment. Strike while the iron is hot. He said Strickland went too hard on Sneeko, but to me that looks like 20% effort at best. And Strickland wasn't picking on Sneeko. Sneeko called him out. I feel like most celebrities would love to spar with idiots that talk trash online. Strickland is just real enough to do it. Comparing him to Paddy was insulting enough, but to add on to it, he offered Strickland $1 million, but Strickland said, "F your money."
Jake Paul Jake Paul is an influencer. He sells to children. Children don't buy pay-per-view. So I don't know, man. You clearly know I can't fight you. We know this. The UFC knows this. We all know this, that me and you cannot fight. But what we can do, you can get in your fancy plane, you can fly your ass to Vegas, and we could have a little powwow. Because you know as well as I know what happens to that. I'll do it for free. I don't need a check. I don't need to live stream it. I will do it for free, sir. So if that is something you want, you're embarrassment to yourself, you're embarrassment to me, and you're embarrassment to the world. Enjoy.
Strickland's right. Jake Paul sells to children. The UFC audience is totally different than the social media following Jake Paul has. Strickland says the UFC won't allow him to fight Paul, but I think if the money was right, the UFC would let it happen. At this juncture, it would be a win-win for Paul, but it would be devastating for Strickland and the UFC if he lost. I think it would be 50-50 odds in a boxing match. Paul's obviously trained enough to get proficient, but if it were the octagon, he wouldn't stand a chance. Strickland would destroy him. I think his last fight was against a science teacher. He fought Silva, Diaz, and Fury, and he's currently 9-1. You would think he would continue fighting actual fighters and rise through the boxing ranks, but he's showing the world he's just a celebrity boxer. Becoming more apparent that every time you see the guy that boxing is for clout and money. He's an expert promoter, I'll give him that.
Sign the contract, big boy. Sign the contract.
No problem. Saturday, July 20th. See you there.
I hate this and I love this at the same time. I love that I'm going to see Mike fight again, and I hate that Paul is going to benefit from it. A lot of people think Mike's legacy will get tarnished if he loses, but I don't think that's the case. People can obviously see this is a promotional fight and it's more about the money. Also, Mike is 60. If he loses to a guy 31 years his age, we'll get it. He's the GOAT regardless, but I wouldn't bet against him. These guys are most definitely friends and business partners. It's going to be a hard time convincing people that they hate each other like Strickland hates Paul. They don't really need hate for this to be a success though. Mike has enough star power to bring in the pay-per-view demographic, and Paul will bring in the millennial demographic, thus leading to Paul attracting the eyes of the pay-per-view demographic Strickland said he was missing. It's a win-win for both of them in the end.
I know in the past you said you didn't want him to fight again. You tried to talk him out of fighting again. Have you spoken to him about this one?
He gets mad when I do this, but Mike's 60, man. I don't know. What do you guys think about it? Who gives a I think. It's not my fight. I love Mike Tyson, you know, personally as a friend, and he's one of my favorite athletes of all time. I don't know. Let's see what he can go in there and put together a training camp and come in, and, you know, I don't like to see guys fighting it. A 31-year age difference during that fight. Just, you guys know what I think of that stuff.
Your thoughts on this Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight?
Oh, geez, I don't. It's a bit strange. You know, is my interest? The interest is a low one. I don't know. I don't really. I don't understand it.
Got it. Any difference between this one and?
I wish well for Mike.
Jake Paul and Strickland have talked trash over the last few years, but up until recently, things were pretty quiet. That is until Strickland saw that Paul was going to fight Tyson.
Jake Paul, you are a disgrace of a man. You are the epitome of weakness. You are the scum of the earth. The fact that you even have a platform or anything of that nature is a slight on society. You truly make me disgusted. And if I ever encounter you in real life, I hope that I just don't lose my and go to prison.
Rogan had Ric Flair on his podcast last year, and somehow Ric Flair was already aware that talks were happening between Paul and Tyson. What's funny about this is Joe is talking about how good Jake Paul is at boxing. When he hears that he wants to fight Tyson, Joe's like, 55 or not, you don't want to fight Mike.
Get that Jake Paul is a YouTube guy and watch him box. Yeah. The kid can fight, 100%. And that Tommy Fury fight really showed that. I mean, it goes to a split decision against a legit undefeated boxer.
Yeah. He doesn't, I'll tell you what, the one thing he doesn't want to do is fight Mike.
No.
He wants to fight Mike, I think.
Why?
I don't know.
I don't give a if he's 55. That's still Mike Tyson.
Mike's in good shape, too.
Oh, my God.
Mike trains every day.
He trains with Rafael Cordero, who's a legend in MMA. He runs King's Mixed Martial Arts. And Rafael is a world-renowned trainer. When you see him holding the mitts for Tyson, and Tyson smashing the mitts, you're like, Jesus. Yeah, Mike, that guy can still you up.
He don't want to fight Mike.
In this world with hormone replacement and vitamins and he does all this electrical muscular stimulation recovery stuff. Like when they were training Mike for that Roy Jones fight, like they were using state-of-the-art science.
Yeah.
Like I don't get you think he's 55 years old. That guy will hurt you. Yeah. If Jake Paul's on the other side of the ring and he sees Mike Tyson just bobbing and weaving, he's going to have a recognition. Yeah. He's going to look over and go, oh my God, that's really Mike Tyson. Yeah. Like, look at this.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I'm talking, it's still at 55. And the thing, and At 55, the power is the last thing to go, but the thing is the speed is still there.
Yeah.
Paul is a decent fighter. He puts in the time and it shows. He's even fought some really good fighters, but there's no way he can beat Iron Mike.
I heard you said you could take Mike. You think you up Mike Tyson, who is now much older, right? Heavily
I don't know
under
if I
the
would
influence.
use those words, but I would win.
You would win.
And I think
Come on.
I think he may have CTE because we're talking about Iron Mike here. People forget how good he was. He made the best fighters in the world look slow.
I mean, he's so fast. He makes fast people look not fast.
Jake Paul obviously knows that Mike is in good shape. I really hope they both try to win and there isn't some side agreement already in place. It wouldn't surprise me if there was, but either way, it's really going to be interesting to see Mike back in the ring. If Paul isn't worried, he should, because Mike is almost 60 years old, but this is what he's been posting on social media.
It's day one, the fun just begun. Day two, I'm getting ready for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. What? One more. Day three, you still want me? Day four, it was okay, but you don't know what you got in store, baby. You got to face the God of War. And get ready, baby. Fire in the house.
In terms of boxers, Mike is my favorite all time, hands down. Not just because he's an animal in the ring, but also because he's a relatable and likable human being. His whole life has been interesting. The fact that he's even alive is a miracle, but he persevered through it all and is one of the most famous and beloved athletes on the planet. Good on Jake Paul for exposing himself to the pay-per-view demographic he was missing. Personally, I hope Mike embarrasses him.
When you get challenged by someone who's a guy like a Jake Paul, does that piss you off? Is
Not
it
at
part
all.
of it that's just like
No, it doesn't. I think it's awesome.
You think it's awesome?
Yeah, I think it'll piss me off. I think it's cool.
You think it's cool? That's awesome.
Give me that old time religion. Give me that old time religion. It's good enough for me.